Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. It has been quite some time for me since I've been back at the bench. The last episode, it was actually done before I left. I'd been on a bit of a holiday, and I went on holiday because a few things basically happened. Look, before I go any further, some of you know and some of you don't know that I was building a house with a builder. The builder went bust, took me with them, and I basically went on a holiday to get away from it all. Now that I'm back, the situation's not much better, but I feel better for having a holiday. Now, I wanted to talk about this ship. The last episode we did, we worked all this out, and it was brought up to me that someone said you can just lay it flat like that and basically mark it with a pencil, something like this. Yeah, you're probably right, that could probably work. The biggest problem I had with that is it really does rock around too much, and I don't think it really works the other way around. The other thing I want to point out too, if I move this ship a bit more this way, what are you sitting on? It was not exactly dead even. When I was measuring this before, it was like 20 here, and then this side over here was like, I don't know, 18, 19, something like that. And in the back here, where we worked these marks out, was like 20 again. Could you still get away with it? Probably, but this is the biggest issue. You would have to seriously stabilize that and then go around the ship with something like this, which happened to work out to be almost exact the right size, which is why I'm bringing it in, and then put that mark on there just like that. Does it help to put the mark on there for the paint? Sure. I mean, let's just do this anyway, just a little bit. Just kind of keeping the ship roughly straight. And let's keep going with that just a little bit, just on one side, and see how we go. Can we put that down there? Oh, I understand you're off the camera a little bit. Let's go that way. Is it level there? So what do we end up with? We do end up with a line virtually there. And what do we end up with like that? What did we say last time? It was 14 from memory in 21, something like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, 21. I wouldn't say it's 13, but I wouldn't say it's 14 either. I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. And down here, that's probably 14 there. Yeah, definitely 14. So it is a little different through the middle of the ship there. Can it be done? Yeah, sure, it can be done. And look, you see how quickly that took. It didn't take very long at all. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is I'm probably going to, just for the black line, do another rough scribe on the other side. So let's turn it over. So there, I've turned it over. I've just quickly scribed it, and you know, it kind of gives me a pretty good idea where everything is going to go as far as the tape and the black and everything else. And I think that does also work. You gotta kind of have a steady hand, because up here where the ship kind of rocked around a little bit, it wasn't exactly dead straight. So yeah. Now getting back to the whole house situation, like I said, I've been back for about a week from Queensland. Yeah, and I've struggled a little bit. I really have. I don't know if you can hear it, but I've kind of fallen down the old rabbit hole a little bit here. So this morning I thought, you know what, I'm going to get back to my roots and do what I enjoy, which is doing modelling. Yeah, I'm not able to sleep and stuff like this. There's an awful lot of headaches. So this morning I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get back to the bench, get set up, and yeah, and let's crack on with the Belfast. Well, here we are back at my painting section. I've got my, my used black here that I've used in the past. I checked it the other day. Should we have any more? This one here, it's only got a little bit left in it, and I'll grab the new one out. Hang on a second. So there is the new one. I thought the tops were a little bit different there. LP3, basically it's a flat black, and it's pretty good. So let's make up a new batch of the black, and we'll put this black line on. I'll get ready with this. So the first thing I'm doing with this older one is I put some thinners in there. I'll mix this up pretty rapidly and pour some of this in, and then I'll basically add the black to this one here to make up a new batch. So basically shake it up a little bit, and then I've been shaking it off camera so that by the time we open it, it's mostly all being gathered, and yeah, that's the way that I get rid of the last bit of colours out of mine. And then basically I have a few of these for all the main colours that I use, and obviously black is one of them, and yeah, I'll just make up the new batch. And of course when I'm making it up, I generally just touch it to see how thin it actually is, and you've seen some of these other ones in the past, and I'm pretty happy with the consistency of that. It may need to be mixed a bit more. So for now, let's get set up with the gun, and let's put a black line on the ship. Okay, a little while later, the gun has been cleaned. Sometimes they block up a little bit when you've been letting them sit for so long. So it's been cleaned, made up the batch. Let's see how we go with this, and let's see how we go. Let's set it up. So again, I'm just using the back of this. This is an actual piece of flooring. The back of this as a test piece. I like to test as I go to see how dry it is or anything else. And I'm pretty happy with the line, the way that's coming out. So now I'm happy with that. Let's get the ship out and do that. So there is the ship. Let's get it lined up and put a black line on this thing, approximately 2 mil and a bit more. It helps it like it's spray straight. I'm probably going to do most of that there. Of course, I'm using the grey lid. Are you blocking up? What are you doing? Of course it's blocking up, because it's my gun. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's better. Oops, decided to do it again. This gun was blocked before I cleaned it out. I'm probably going to have to clean it out again. Yeah, unfortunately going to have to clean it out again. Hang on a second. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to do this side on the camera, and already I'm fairly happy with that black line. But let's... Oh, that's probably thinners. It is. I forgot to blow the thinners out of it. Here we go. Now, Man, I'm just not having luck. There we go. Yeah, that's a whole lot better. And around the back there. Yeah. And back again, just to make sure we've got a good solid black line. And pretty happy with that. Now, I'll come back and do the other side. Okay, so I did the other side, which was this side here. Now, I had that tape on there, and when I took the tape off, I noticed there was a bit of residue there, so I had to kind of clean that off. So again, I've given this a bit of a blast. Pretty happy with it. I may give it one other blast. I may not, but the black line is definitely on there. And I did go over this one more time. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, the black line on there. Is that a bit more of that residue, or is that a scratch? I think it looks like a bit of a scratch, actually. So anyway, this time, unlike the other time, see, the other time the paint dried really quickly, and anyway, I put the white tape on there, and I don't think I let it wait long enough. So this time I'm going to give this one a bit more time. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty. Give this one a little bit more time, and then we'll put the white line on. So just while we're waiting for everything to dry, and we will let it well and truly dry this time, last night I was watching a movie, and I'll put this up here somewhere, maybe here, about the Bismarck and the hood, and I was rather surprised. Now, what was also very surprising was the other thing that I spotted in there, which I will put up maybe here. It actually had the Bismarck in there. I'll put up the show that I was watching and a couple of pictures I've taken from the actual Bismarck that sits in London at the moment. Now, if I'm correct, I should have up on the screen the Bismarck, and you can actually see some of the colours in there. Do I think they're the same as what's on the ship? I don't think they're the same as what's on here. But it does have the different variation of the nose and the darker colour, which I did happen to notice, even from that real picture of the actual Bismarck. The other thing I tried to really take some notice of, sorry about the black paint on my hands there, was the mast and all the bits and pieces. So I took another photograph of the mast, and you can actually see the square pieces in there as well, which makes a lot of sense why they're on there. I mean, obviously they're on there for a reason, but it is good to see the actual picture with this stuff on there. So yeah, very interested to see that. Okay, it's been nearly 2.5 hours now since I first started, and of course, what is a good morning without the coffee? Of course, I think that's probably dried enough by now. It doesn't take that long for paints to dry, so do we put the strip on now? Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Let's get set up for that. I was just thinking to myself, well, I could measure all of this, and I could, and I only want to put on a little bit of a strip of tape to sort of say, well, the line's got to go below here. So my thinking was, if this is the top of the line, so if I put a line on here, and let's leave the ship dead straight the way that it was, let's mark the end. Is that right? Did I just move that ship up and down then? Maybe. Can I see the line? I can see the line. Okay. There's the line. So let's turn the ship. Well, no, let's not turn the ship. Let's move the ship around. And let's mark the back. And let's see if this is going to work. There's the ship sitting in its position. Let's give you a better view. Okay, now, just like the other one, holding the ship dead straight. Okay, let's hope that marked it. Oh, let's have a look. And it did. Now, I do believe that is the top of our line. Let's have a look just to make sure. That is, yeah, 14. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that. It's on the line roughly there. Yeah, that'll work anyway. Okay, so let's get up. What are we going to go from here? I think what we'll do here is put a couple of tabs on, which will guide us to put the white line on. So there's the rear end there. It does seem a little low, but it's only a 2mm line, and it is the water line. And you know, we do want plenty of camo, so yeah, I'm still happy with that. So let's keep going with it. Although, according to me, that line, the black, should have been a bit lower. Or is that? Yeah. See, 21 and 14. Yeah, I don't think I put enough paint on there now when I'm looking at this. If we were to put a 2mm line, let's get a 2mm line out and have a look. Well, I got to tell you, I had to hunt high and low for this stuff. I was just about ready to give up when I found it. Let me just see now. Is this the 2mm? This is the 2mm. God. Yeah, that's 2mm. Okay, so how would the 2mm fall on that black line? Let's have a bit of a look before we go back and paint any more. Let's have a look. You know, we are kind of getting away with it there, but now I actually want to put a bit on the other end and actually drop a string over the whole lot. So I'll put another piece up the other end. So just to add to confusion, I put the back line on, and well, it definitely had to go underneath. We already worked this out. So it was 14, and that is not 14. That is now 12 above the line, which is not enough. But then I went, because we originally had this below the line, working out all the markings we did the other day, and this is why I also work all that stuff out. It takes a lot of the confusion out. I'll just quickly readjust this offline. Okay, if you're wondering what the confusion is, we did this before and we were happy with it. So the mark is right here, which basically that is on the line, or the tape is just below the line, which is correct because we were working out the camo. Now up the other end, without turning the camera off or changing it, we marked this, did it exactly the same way with the ship. Try and keep the ship the same, like that. And you can see it has marked the tape there. Now, when I move the tape back to where the line should be, so let's take that off. Let's remark this ship, and yeah, the line's definitely there. I'll zoom in. So can you zoom in more? Yep, there it is. The problem is, it actually doesn't work now. I do not know why, because now we've got something like 24, 25. So I'm a little bit confused by all this. So I'm going to put the tape back underneath the lines. Or should the tape be over it? Hang on a second. No, the tape should have been underneath the line because we're trying to hold the black line, and the black line basically separates the camouflage from the red. So we wanted approximately 21mm above that. what do we actually have? Let's just put that aside for a second. While the camera's still there and still rolling, what do we now have? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's more like 24 now. It doesn't kind of work, but it does work as if, you know, what some of you guys said, which is just mark it. And I think now the line's going to be, what is it, 24, 23, definitely 23. That's going to kind of put it too low now. 21, 22, 23. Yeah, I would have said to keep above that. 23 would give you 20 line back. And we might just do that actually. Let's do that. Let's go above it. Because that'll also raise the back. But then again, then you lose down the back, because then you end up with 13. What have we got down the back there? This is below the line, and we're at 14 where it should be. Wow. I kind of like the 14 down the back, but I'm not happy with the front. What are we going to do there? Let's put a line above this, and let's put a string on it, and the string will tell us how true we are to this original line right here. Let's do that. Okay, I've now put the line above it, and also above it on this end. Okay, I have to turn the camera a little bit to be able to get the ship in on both sides. I've got my string over here on the side. Let's have a bit of a look. I've used this string before to line stuff up. Where are we? Let's go over the top. So we're after the bottom under that. The bottom? I don't know if it's still a good view for you guys. Yeah, I'm not very happy with that. Can I change the view for you guys? Hang on a second. I'm going to try and do this. I have eyeballed it already, and it does look okay. Let me just see now. So I'm going to go above the ship. So I'm probably about right there on both ends, looking directly above it. And it is pretty much in line. So I think after all the mucking around we're going to do, I'm going to go with the original lines that are already there. Just there where the two tabs are. We can still make that work. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I don't know if you got that, but that's about as best I can get it. So I'm going to give this one last shot. So the ship is sitting with the clamp there now holding it so it won't fall over. And I'm going to go roughly over the top, and hopefully you're over enough that you can see this. Boy, that is close. And this is why I like the other way better. That is very, very close to that line. We do know it is close to that line, but is it too close, is what I'm trying to say. I think you'll get away with it. I think you'll just get away with it, though. Yeah, I think that'll work. It's very close. Sorry if you weren't able to get that properly. I've tried a couple of different ways, and I don't seem to be able to make it work. Okay, so with our tabs sitting here and here, and I did want to bend that one down a bit more, because I only want to use those tabs now as a guide to where to actually drop this white line, and same with this one. Just there as a guide to sort of say where it is. And I think on that angle there, you should be able to get it with me. So I'll get ready. So from here, I'm just going to turn the camera on and probably just edit out the stuff that we need to edit out. because I'm not going to be able to turn the camera on and off while I place this line down. So let's grab that. Of course, we're going to use these other white lines as a guide. We want this one to be fairly strong. So what I like to do is overrun it, stretch it, and then basically plonk it down one end, and then the other, like that. And 9 times out of 10, it usually works. Set that line down now. Let's see how we go for straightness. Yeah, I believe that's pretty correct. I do like the old drop method. You just have to, you know, have basically steady hands. Sorry, I just had a coffee. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll cut this off up here. We'll release the tabs on the other side, and then we use the leftover on this side to help guide the other side, if you know what I mean. So here we are once again, same scenario. The tape is now sticking out, but it's the original tape now. It's not the little add-on pieces. Now we'll do the same thing, and hopefully we can replicate what we just did, which is slightly past it. Ooh, not that careful at the moment. Let's see now. I always find it best that if you're really comfortable that all you have to do is actually just drop. So a bit like that. And I kind of eye it up above it. Give her a stretch. Lining up with the other one. Do one at a time, whichever one you're going to do. Lift it above, make sure it's not touching anywhere. And then the back one. And then the front one. Keeping it still a little bit stretched. And I do believe we have it. Is that where we want it? So of course we can adjust it a little bit because we've mostly got it all on there. I don't really like this line that much. I can already see that's probably only 10 mil. Yeah, I'm not happy with this line. Why? Now these are not the easiest things to do. You'll know whether you're happy with them or not straight away. Happy with the front, kinda. Oh, it's a little under. Why is it a little under? And you know what? Sometimes you have to have another go at it. Let's have a look at the other side. Yeah, the other side we are definitely along that line and that line there. So I might have had to stick my head over the line a bit more. So let's take that line off and redo it. So I'm going to kind of take a couple of things in here. That line that we want to follow down the back, the front line, kind of happy with the front line. Now the back line, like that. How are we now? Still doesn't look right. It does not. Still only about 10. Why does it keep doing 10? Oh, the ship's not rolled over enough, which doesn't help. Okay, let's do round 3. Time. Yeah, that's a whole lot better. So pull it tight. Back. The front. Let's have a quick measure. Yeah, it's about where it needs to be. And once you're happy with it, push that line down. And then I like to just squeeze the ends kind of like together. There and there. And then we should have our waterline down. Let's see. Let's have a look at this angle. Looking way back here, it does look pretty straight. It gives us enough camouflage up the top here, and you know, plenty of red. I don't know. Am I entirely happy with this side? I'm not as happy with this side as I was the other side. Let me flip it over and have another look. But it does seem to be right along here. Gee, I don't know. Oh, I just think there's too much red. And there's just not enough for the camo. The whole point of this ship is for the camouflage. I'm going to think about this one for a minute and come back. Okay, I've come back. I will tell you, I took it off again. And this time what I did is all that other stuff that we previously worked out, which is the line just here and the line just here, I kind of eyeballed it that way and then dropped it down. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with it like that. I do believe it's straight because I like to keep them well tensioned that they probably actually shrink the tape a little bit. And I'm happy with that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure the other side kind of matches. It is a little bit of both, where I'm using the pencil, I'm using all the previous stuff we worked out, plus I'm also looking at where the line sits at the back and how much camo we're actually going to have, and will I be happy with it. We already knew roughly where the lines were, and all that mucking around was just to basically work all that out. So I am happy with this side now, finally. I think this was the 4th drop. So I'll turn it over and just make sure the other side's okay. Well, I can say after a bit of mucking around that the line is now on and I'm pretty happy with it. It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've had to run around and do a few bits and pieces with banks and other bits and pieces. And there was a mistake I made earlier. When I took one of these off, it left some residue on there. Now, I thought I cleaned one of these other ones off, but I left one here. Anyway, I hit it with a bit of heavy thinners, and it kind of damaged it a little bit, so I ended up, just here, I ended up repainting it, sanding it and painting it, and it is a little bit scuffed there, but with the next couple of coats, I'll soon get rid of that, so I'm not too bothered by it. And like I always said, I show you the good, bad, and the ugly. Am I happy with the line? Let's see if I can get it on the camera here. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that line. That was not the easiest thing to do, and I think it sits okay with my original line. Let's have a look here, because this is sort of sitting. Is that going to... make it play up. Yeah, see, that even that made it change. It's just, this is the problem with this. It just becomes too wonky. And I reckon we're pretty close to it anyway on a few different points. We're not exact. I sort of took, in the end, I kind of was happy dropping it, leaving this line that we discussed earlier and this one here. And pretty much did the same on this side here, where I could see the line. And that's what I went for in the end. And I'm pretty happy with where the line is. So with that, there goes that light being crazy again. Settle down. With that, I think we're going to call this episode. Now, look, I do want to apologise for a little bit earlier. I am having a hard time with this house and other bits and pieces, but I do know it's not your problem. But, you know, a problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. You know, sometimes just good to vent, I suppose. Anyway, one way or another, the house will sort itself out. As I say, good, bad or ugly, it will work. Anyway, I'm happy with this, and we're going to call it right here, and well, I'll see you on the next one. And right now, I'm going to get back into this properly, because I quite enjoyed today and couldn't wait to get back to finish it off to this stage here. Now, let's crack on with the next one, and we'll see how we go.